Hi everyone. So I've got a witchy deck here. This is a stunning oracle deck, and I'd like to share my first impressions with you. So I have opened it and I cleansed the deck, and so the band that held the cards has been removed, but I haven't had a chance to work with it or use it in any readings or anything like that. I really just had quite a few decks that I've received recently, and so I've gotten them ready, opened the packaging, things like that, and I'll be filming quite a few videos to share. Some of them will be reviews and others will just be first impressions. We'll throw in some silent flip throughs when that seems appropriate, but today it's a first impressions video. So this is the Solitary Witch Oracle, and our subtitle is Lore, Wisdom, and Light for Your Magical Path by Lucy Cavendish, and the artwork is by Lady Victoria. You're probably familiar with Lucy Cavendish. She's extremely prolific in creating decks. They're always creative, often fantasy themed. They're thoughtful in their design, and the guidebooks are usually pretty fabulous as well. And Lady Victoria, the artist, is an artist who works in acrylics. So I believe all of the artwork that you'll see in this deck began as an acrylic painting for each card. So that's pretty exciting as well. They are beautiful. The publisher of this is Blue Angel, and it's a brand new deck. So it just came out. I was waiting for it and I was so excited when it arrived. Oh, I'd say maybe a couple weeks ago, if it's been that long. Blue Angel always just has high quality decks. You can count on a nice solid box. This one doesn't disappoint. They don't chintz on their cardstock. The books hold up typically. So here you've got, it's a 45 card deck, and I think we're close to 200 pages with the book. Did it say? 180 page guidebook. And it does have illustrations in it. They are not in color, but that's okay with me. It's still quite nice, and it has just a little bit of everything. So we'll be looking at it more closely as well. Let's look at the cards a bit, shall we? So you can see our first one. There's such a softness to the imagery. You see it's a feminine style. It's dark. A lot of feminized imagery. Again, I haven't really gone through all of the cards, so maybe we'll do that together, and I'll get a better impression. I love the backs, so pretty, but you can see, like, not too long ago, I lotioned my hands, and I feel like I'm leaving little smudges. So this is a matte here. There's no gloss really, which is great for making the video. I don't have glare. Really shiny silver pentagram. I hope that holds up as well. Well, you know what would be dreamy is if it had black or silver edging, like metallic edges, but I'm not going to complain. What a beautiful deck. Feels really nice. It's so smooth. It'll shuffle pretty well. Just the typical large, like 3x5, I'd say, oracle deck size as far as the cards go. Let's see if there's anything. Sometimes there's things in the boxes. Nope. We'll read the back. So it says, "Who are you?" the universe asks. "I am," you reply, "the witch who walks alone." Wherever there are humans, there are solitary witches, independent emissaries of magic, who love others but adore the companionship of the free and the wild even more. If ever you have yearned for moon-kissed mysteries, kinship with wildflowers, and ecstatic connections with nature and her cycles, you have felt a witch's wisdom stirring within. You may dwell deep in a forest or in an apartment within the very heart of a city. Wherever you abide, the whispers of the elements, plants, creatures, and cosmos infuse your world with fascination and freedom. This enchanting oracle is an illuminating tapestry of insight, comfort, healing, and practical guidance for awakening your charms and senses. Together, the spark of Lucy Cavendish's prose and Lady Victoria's alluring hand-painted imagery evoke profound rememberings to draw back the veil and celebrate your magical soul. Your new journey begins. So, well, she does have a way with words, doesn't she? It's always so evocative. It's always so inviting as well. I really enjoy the other decks that I have of hers. I don't have anywhere near all of them, but the ones I have are quite nice. So let's take a little look at the guidebook before we start looking at all the cards. Contents. She packs a lot in. You can see this. So these are the card messages, and they are numbered. Let's check again. So it would be easy to find them. That's card 45. So you could easily go to 45, transcendent amidst the everyday. Here's the introduction, which I can't wait to read. It's always a pleasure to read her writing. It sets a whole scene, a whole mood. It can be really immersive to read with her decks, and I think this one is not going to disappoint. Oh, I'm so excited. Beyond those who gather, becoming the book of the wise, inspirations for the solitary witch oracle. And I love that. So she has a suggestion for initiating the solitary witch oracle. So I'm going to assume this is like a blessing of the deck. You're setting it up with an intention, basically. So yeah, and she gives a suggestion of how to do that. So you're giving it a purpose or an assignment, and you're going to thoughtfully use it and not just maybe pull it out any old time. I like the intention concept there. Here's how to bless it. So I always cleanse my decks when I get them before I put them on the bookshelf. I have a couple bookshelves. And they're divided up according to subject. Maybe I'll share those with you in a future video if people are interested, just how I organized it. So then she talks about a reading space, tuning into the cards, how to shuffle your cards for a reading. So I love this. So just for fun with other readings, especially for myself, I love to get down on the floor, spread out my cards with my left hand, and stir them as if they are in a great cauldron. I experimented with this a lot in my younger days, moving the cards about, mixing them Deosil, Sunwise in the Old Tongue, and Widdershins, Anti-Sunwise, or Against the Sun in the Old Tongue, as it is called in witchcraft. So she talks about that. Cutting the cards, asking questions. So she really sets you up just for the whole experience. Cards with a will of their own, the leaping card, which I always call jumpers. The reverse card, she makes space for that if it happens. So you can read with reversals or not. So you can see the backs. You would know if it was upside down from the backs. Sometimes people like to know that. And a lot of people don't want it to be obvious. So that's something to keep in mind, how to cleanse the oracle. And she talks about smoke cleansing and other methods. I think I've shared that on this channel before. I do a few things, but I rely on smoke for the most part. So enhancing your readings with essential oils. She has a list of crystal companions that would be appropriate. So like agate, this stone is useful for gaining clarity around what is required and needed. Clear quartz, you can program this stone with intention and purpose. It will then lend its power to that need. Rose quartz, I know a lot of you are familiar with this already. This beautiful stone supports anyone wishing to develop self-love and deep compassion for others. And she goes on and includes a few more stones. She also has a section on herbal helpers. I mean, I think this is definitely going to appeal to all of those interested in the craft, certainly a witchy aesthetic. Simple layouts for the Solitary Witch Oracle. So maybe we will test out one of her layouts. So we've got a basic 3 card here, and it's her spin on a past, present, future. Okay. Then variations on a 3 card spread, lots of ways to do it. So a 3 card called the Maiden, Mother, and Crone, or the Hunter, Father, and Sage. You could call it Yesterday, Today, Tomorrow. Underworld, Middle World, and Overworld. I like that one. That's pretty cool. She has her own version of the Celtic Cross. And you can see here, pretty familiar layout. And then it's in her interpretation. The Seeker, the situation you are in, the past, very recent past and present, the future, the outcome, what the Seeker wants, how the people see the Seeker, what you fear, and the best possible action. The Circle of Witches. So that is a cool spread. Look at this. All right, I'm loving this. And she notes, makes a distinction between, widdershins and which direction it would be in the southern hemisphere versus northern hemisphere, because it matters, right? Here, clockwise or counterclockwise, depending. And those are exciting titles. Yeah, how engaging. Puts you right in the mood, right? The Healer Witch, the Seer Witch, the Witch of Endings, the Witch of Beginnings, the Green Witch, the Wild Witch, the Love Witch, the Star Witch, and the Coven Witch. Shows you how to relate to groups of people. I just love how she stays with the theme, but is able to go deep. It's not just a surface treatment. The tools of the Solitary Witch. Let's see. All of a sudden my fingers don't work. Card 1, the Cauldron, the element of water. Card 2, the Star, the element of spirit, and so on. So there's an elemental spread. How lovely. And we're just getting started, folks. So I got some beautiful artwork, and now you've got your card messages. So she sets it all up. And then you've got your short take, walk away with meaning, and a reversed meaning as well. And these are lovely, super witchy and gorgeous. All right, so the moment you've been waiting for, let's look at these beautiful cards because I'm really excited. I've had a peek at a few just from the process of opening the packaging and cleaning, but all right, we just do it this way. I wanted to go in order. All right, so wishes. We'll leave it there, I guess. Her herb garden, how beautiful. Look at the artist treatment of the dress, the different colors in the white. Kind of impressionistic, really pretty. The Beltane Lover. Wow. Look closer, she is not lonely. The comforts of friendship. And remember, this is designed to target the solitary practitioner. And this has been a theme for the decks I've been collecting recently. And I see it as a need for clients when you're reading for them. There's a loneliness and a theme of loneliness or lack of connection as well. She sleeps with the stars. But then, of course, this is that witchcraft piece. And I love that it says she is not lonely. So I may talk about that in a future video. Some of the other decks that kind of celebrate and acknowledge the beauty of being solitary, of solitude. I don't know, thematically it might, relate to the Hermit card. Yule's Night. Pretty. The next journey beckons. All the little details, without being too distracting, that are in these images. The witch shows her daughter the moon. So I think I've only seen one male figure so far. Definitely a lot of feminine energy, not so much masculine. Her knowledge runs deep. That's not to say there isn't a lot of strength in the images. There certainly is. The 13th aspect, self-initiation, sweet Ostara harvest. Was she once a Selkie? That image is beautiful as she looks out on the water. There are other conversations. So these are so mysterious, like they're engaging and you can get a hint of the meaning, but it's calling you to read the description. And I can't wait, really. Like I want to know her story and I want to know their story here, the gathering, right? The maiden and the Imbolc lamb. Magical manifestation. The maiden, the mother, the crone. Spells from the hearth. The crone in winter. Ancestors and apples. I love how we move through all the seasons too, but it stays consistent in the color scheme because you have the consistency of the somewhat dark palette. Nearing skyclad. Spells of rose and cacao. Oh, I see. A Samhain sending. The releasement. So sometimes the vocabulary and the font, they throw me a little bit and make me trip over my words. But it's so beautiful. The font's really lovely. I wouldn't want it changed, but it might take a double take. You might want to slow down and make sure you're reading it correctly. When fretful times come, the company of trees, and that's our cover image, right? Solitude, but not alone and not lonely, if you see. I'd say that's kind of a consistent theme, and sometimes she changes. Once upon another time. The blessing and the banishing candle. And I will say that, there's an idealization to the art style, which is fine. It makes it beautiful. That might be our first distinctly aged person in the deck. Look, the older I get, the more I would like to see more of that aged. You know what I'm saying? But it is gorgeous, regardless. But I think that's the first one that I've consciously noted. A gentle path of inspiration. The witch's house. Her little cauldron. Oh my goodness, don't you want to just go into that tree and live in there with the fox? You just know there's like a hidden fireplace and they have tea and stuff. The milk of the mother flows. That's beautiful. Oh, I just noticed the other child next to you. Really thoughtful art. Garden of Hallowed Moonlight. Lunasa, Forgiveness and Justice. So we move through the Wheel of the Year, but it's not restricted by that. That's not the harsh structure. It's there, but there's so many other things going on. A Broom of Her Own. She is moonlight shy. She's peeking around. You see the magic, the night's calling. Very often, you see you would say they're alone, but then you see they have a little friend, often a little animal familiar or two. I believe that's an owl. There's a cat. It's a little cat friend here. The charging of her wand. She is 1,000 flowers. Transcendent amidst the everyday. Okay, so wow, stunning Really beautiful. So lovely. If you're still paying attention, maybe we will try to do a little sample reading so that you can hear a description of, if we do a 3-card reading, you can hear a description of at least 3 of the cards. Because I don't know about you, but I'm dying to read a few of those. So let's just do a little sample. We'll do her 3-card spread, the first one she suggested. I just need to shuffle a little. It won't be a great shuffle, but this is really for demonstration and fun and just to have an excuse to read 3 of these. Such nice cards. I'm already feeling greedy and wanting her to create an expansion pack or a part 2. So pretty. All right, let's do it a little bit more. All right, I'm sure they need to be mixed more, but this will be enough, right? So we'll cut. Lovely, and we'll pull our 3. Oh my goodness, don't they look nice together? I put my witchy background here because I thought it would be fun. So hopefully they're standing out against it because it's light and that you can see those well enough. All right, so if we look at her suggestion, goodness, where is it? Cutting, oh, we're getting there. She really packs it in. All right, this is the 3 witches spread, which is basically a past, present, future, okay? So we did the shuffling and the cutting. All right, we imagined that the card on the left is the witch of the past, a wise one here to share insights about what has already been. She can show you secrets of your childhood, who you have been, how you thought, people of influence when you were young, family events, and how you grew up. She may also show you what happened last week. She governs what has taken place and can offer you insights into its impact on your life as it is manifesting now. Well, that's just the prettiest, most eloquent way to describe the card in the position of the past that I think I've read. So obviously this is going to be our witch of the present. So through the card in the middle, the witch of the present, I guess if you want to read along here, reveals what has been created, what you are living with or through. Its foundation is built upon what the witch of the past has shown you. The cards are connected. What is now is a result of what has been, the choices, the destinies, the moments that have made you you. The present is the culmination of everything you have chosen, everything you have already been. The now is still in the creation process. Therefore, this present moment can still be reshaped, rechosen, and influenced in ways that align more with your soul and higher purpose. So here's our present. And then we have the final one, which of course the 3rd card represents, as you probably have guessed, she says, the witch of the future. She shows what is being created but has not yet come to pass, what is likely, what could be, but can still be shaped and altered by the choices you make and the way you act upon and understand the past and the present. These 3 witches of past, present, and future show that time is in a relationship with you and that you are always becoming your next possible self. Your life is within your hands to weave with the material destiny offers you. Okay, so we will look at the first, and here's our witch of the past, right? And she's speaking to us saying, and sometimes she changes. So let's read that, which is card number 32. They're easy to find because they're numbered. All right. So here's the beautiful description. Maybe I'll hold the card so you can look at it while I read. Well, I can fit them both in the frame. All right, we are not always the same person. We are ourselves, yet all of ourselves cannot be simultaneously expressed. We shift and change, bend and shape ourselves to people, situations, and we are sculpted too by time, the elements, the energies, the soul's journey. That's my dog you hear, by the way. She's whiny. It's okay, Minnie, go lay down. Sometimes it is best to understand that we are changing creatures, evolving in response to our own needs, our own destinies, and our own environments. We evolve and we also become able to find those safe spaces where we can reveal the parts of ourselves that others have found impossible to believe in or to comprehend or to love. Not all of ourselves are as others would have us be. To be entirely ourselves, like this solitary witch, we must find, what does it say? A haven, within or without, in which we can transform. So during her bathing ritual, the solitary witch has connected with her mer-self. To others, she seems weird, inhuman, or unrealistic, but she feels that she is home. Make space inside and outside of you, where no other will judge you, and where you learn not to judge yourself, where you accept the mysteries of who you are and who you may yet become. We are evolving creatures of mystery, and who you once were is no longer who you are today. You are always changing, flowing through forms, reshaping the self you have created in your image. Be your own creation. Allow the unacceptable parts of yourself to find a home, for within them is pure, deep magic. And so I won't read the reverse, but I will read the meaning for this one. The meaning is private ritual that reveals aspects of self you may have been unaware of. Finding the elemental part of yourself through immersion in that element. Complete self-love, acceptance, and acknowledgement. Observation and acceptance of new aspects to you of the self. Validation through the true seeing of yourself. Feeling completely free to be the self that others may not wish to see or validate as even existing. Understanding that form is illusory and can be shaped and changed. Deeper connection with sensuality, a desire to move beyond restrictions. So that is so meaty. There's so much to dig into. Obviously with the meaning, it's which ones would resonate the most. But the lead in, the description of the card prior to the meaning was beautiful, really beautiful, and went perfectly with the card. And of course that would make sense, I imagine, to almost anyone who's getting a reading. And if that card shows up in the past, well, of course, I mean, we're all shapeshifters, right? We're all changing all the time. The mermaid's perfect symbol for that. And of course, people have shifted and changed from what they once were into now. So if we look at the card that is a message from the Witch of the Present. So this is right now, currently, ongoing. She is moonlight shy. And so we'll look at that one. That's number 42. Where was I? Wrong way? Yeah. Close. Oh, I just love them all. Okay. She is moonlight shy. So we'll read a description because it's really immersive, like you're in the story, right? A path lit by moonlight beckons. I'll put it here, I guess. There is a gap in the wall she has built around herself, and into that space, the moonlight flows, calling her forth onto her path. She gazes from behind the door, wondering how the power of this full moon will feel. She can already sense the magic pouring into her veins as her familiar absorbs the light of the lustrous path of La Luna. She knows this full moon will bring something to completion, to a place where it must be acknowledged and spoken of and owned, but still she is not ready. But a part of her, the part that belongs to her familiar, is ready. Her wilder self feels the call, and before long, the rest of her will follow. She will no longer hold back. She will no longer cut off parts of herself to please others. She will no longer hide so much of herself for fear that it will be misunderstood. She knows that once she steps onto the path of moonlight, once she ceases being moonlight shy, her witch nature will blossom and her magics will increase ninefold. She still feels some caution, fearing she is not ready to become all she is meant to be. She does not entirely know what she is meant to do with the power and force she can feel flowing through her, but like her familiar who trusts in the path of moonlight, if she just lives fully, less fearfully, with less constraint, if she breaks the invisible chains, if she unshackles her wrist and casts off the guilt and the shame and the doubt that never was hers to begin with, the freedom this brings will be the way. The time of living fully in the moonlight is coming. Step out from behind the door, dear witch. Wait no longer for your life to begin. The ocean of your life beckons. It is yours to dive into. She is moonlight shy no longer. So there's a lot of possible meanings. Some are the pause before decisive action. You see her waiting here. You know where she's going to go. It's calling her, right? But she's waiting. Hesitation before embracing full power. Knowing the time of waiting is almost over. The courage to become your most powerful articulation of your soul. Stepping fully onto the path of the magical being you are. Embracing your magic, no longer denying its existence or dismissing it as imagination. The power within becomes greater than the hesitation born of fear. Willingness to be guided by intuition and instinct. So, of course, it does have a reverse meaning, but we didn't put out reversals. Well, that's beautiful and is resonating for me. I don't know about anyone else watching the video. And so we can look at the final card to wrap things up. So this is card 43, the charging of her wand. And this will be a message from the Witch of the Future, correct? So it's right on the next page. That's pretty convenient. All right, so you can see beautiful write-up. Like, she really doesn't skimp. So much is packed in here. All right, so you can look at the beautiful card in the third position. This witch is coming in from a powerful, simple spell casting. Truth be told, it was more a communing with the night and the moon who is in her in-between self, either waning or waxing, depending on when she finds herself shining on the world. For this little witch, the moon is newborn, and so her spell has stirred up something surprising. She did not know it, but this night she has birthed moon power within her wand. It is now a moon wand, and it can bring about magic, even when the moon is no longer in this phase. Using this wand, she can call on creative powers and find clever solutions to tricky dilemmas within her life. She cannot see it yet with her physical eyes, but the moon's power and newness pour forth from the tip of her wand. So too you, dear witch, ought to charge and bless your magical tools, all of them. Charge crystals under the full moonlight and a wand under the new moon, cleanse a deck under the waning moon, and scry with a special bowl at the dark moon. All magical tools need to be consecrated towards a purpose. This practice can evolve, it can change and develop as your relationship with your tools grows. But there must be a relationship, a purpose, and a sense of speaking with each other. This witch's wand was sleeping before this night. Now she has awoken, ready to help bring the fresh, the new, the gentle fire of creative forces, inspiration, and trust in the witch's unique vision of the world and the worlds between worlds. Charge your tools, love them, talk with them, work with them. Know that they too have souls that speak differently to our human souls, but are full of love and life and light nevertheless. Do this, and your magical world will be more alive, more powerful, more transformative, and joyous. These allies are your friends. Do not neglect them. So if we look at the meaning, treating magical tools of all kinds with respect and love, keeping the energy of magical tools fresh and vital, the sacred use of magical tools, dedicating tools to particular purposes, and imbuing them with your life force. Of course, there's a reverse. We don't need to read that. So, wow. So if we look at this, in relation to the spread positions of past, present, and future. And we were weaving a story between these scenes. I mean, they all go together so beautifully. They look good together, and it makes sense, right? So you're coming out of the past where someone has changed and accepted parts of themselves, and particularly with the themes of this deck, the magical parts of themselves, the spiritual path. The changing has begun. This is maybe representative of the beginning of transformation, some transformations that were already completed, and a spiritual awakening. And then you see this phase now of being called, of knowing that there's a path, not quite trusting in the direction, in the mission. I love that it's a moonlit path because it's not so easy to see. Like it is hard to trust moonlight, right? But it's illuminated there nonetheless. And her little friend, her little cat friend is showing the way. And so she's being called, and you know she's going to follow it. That's the feeling I get from the card. You know, we're not terrified. We're not turning away. We're going. We're just a little hesitant, right? She's moonlight shy. And so perhaps for anyone that this reading is resonating for, you too are being called and you're not exactly sure on the direction and all the details, but you're being called and your path is starting to be illuminated. Maybe it's just 1 or 2 steps in front of you is all you can see in the light, and you would have to trust that you could continue forward past that. And maybe that's part of the hesitation. And then if you look at the last card, the charging of her wand. So here you have tools at the ready. And if you're taking care of them and you understand how to use them with conscious intention, right? With the proper intent, that's when things are really going to start happening. And again, not alone. There's a little cat friend right there. I love the story with all of them. I think that really the charging of her wand could be a lot more than just about the spiritual tools, and they could really be symbols and a metaphor for stepping into your own power, for a reminder that you have all the tools that you need. And if you know how to wield them, you're really going to find dramatic changes, and your path, in this case, it looks like a spiritual path, a magical path, unfolding, growing, really giving back, right, to the practitioner. So that was pretty delightful. I can't wait to play with it more, to be honest. I hope you enjoyed my first impressions. I would love to hear yours, either from what you've seen here in the video, or if you happen to have a copy of this deck yourself and are working with it, I would love to hear how that's going for you. Things you like, maybe things that you wish were different. As always, thank you so much for watching.